Hello friends, in this video we are going to solve previous year's questions of English literature. Let us enjoy the English literature. Raj Mohan's Wife is written by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Raj Mohan's Wife, written by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, a well-known Indian writer and novelist. This novel is significant in the context of Indian literature and considered one of the early works of 19th century Bengali literature. He is also known for his later works Anand Mat, which includes our national song Vande Mataram. This song played a very crucial role in India's struggle for independence. The novel is based on the life and experiences of the protagonist Matangini. Matangini's struggles, her relationships with her husband Raj Mohan and other characters, her journey to find her place in a changing society, all these are at the heart of the novel. The narrative reflects the author's perspective on contemporary cultural and social dynamics. Raj Mohan's Wife is important for its historical and cultural insights into colonial Bengal, in addition to its literary value. Who orders the execution of Junior Mortimer in Marlowe's play Edward II? Answer: Edward III. Christopher Marlowe's play Edward II tells a story about the troubled time when King Edward II ruled England. It mainly focuses on King Edward's close friendship with Piers Gaveston, which caused a lot of problems with the nobles and Queen Isabella. The play is all about power, love, and political troubles. Unfortunately, it's a sad story because Edward's time as king is filled with conflict and ends sadly. In the play, a nobleman named Junior Mortimer opposes King Edward II. Later, Edward III becomes the king after his father Edward II loses his power. It's Edward III who decides that Junior Mortimer should be executed for his role in rebelling against Edward II. This execution is a significant event in this play. Christopher Marlowe's Edward II. Our Casuarina Tree reminiscences about whose childhood days? Toru Dutt. Our Casuarina Tree is a lyrical sonnet written by Toru Dutt, a 19th century Indian poet. She is known for her contributions to Indian English literature. This poem personifies a majestic casuarina tree as the guardian of family memories in poet's ancestral courtyard. Under its branches, the generations have rejoiced and shared stories. As the poem progresses, it takes on a melancholy tone, exploring themes of the passage of time and enduring power of memory. The tree's roots symbolize ancient buried memories, whilst rustling leaves and sighing winds evoke a sense of nostalgia for the past times and the departed close ones. Dutt expresses her deep longing for her home Calcutta and her family and mourns their absence. She longs to return under the shade of the casuarina tree when she has cherished moments. This poem ends on a poignant note, suggesting that even in death, the poetess hopes to find solace in the tree's embrace. The connection between nature, time, memory, and one's roots is beautifully explored throughout the poem. One of the sources of Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale is Pandosto. Shakespeare's play The Winter's Tale was inspired by Robert Greene's story Pandosto, The Triumph of Time. During the writing of his play, Shakespeare divided it into two large parts. The first part is very sad and serious. It's like a tragedy because the king in the story, Leandris, becomes very jealous of his wife and many bad things happen. People are accused of many things that they didn't do. Some people are in prison and there is even a child's death in that part. But then the story changes. It moves to another place and introduces new characters. In the second part, things become more light-hearted and funny, like a comedy. There is a love story, jokes, and laughter. The Winter's Tale therefore had two different emotions. In the beginning, it is sad and serious, like a tragedy, and then it becomes happy and funny, like a comedy. Shakespeare did this to give the audience a mixed emotions and to show that serious can go from bad to good. Porphyria's Lover was published in dramatic lyrics paired with another poem under the title Madhouse Cells. The other poem is Johannes Agricola in Meditation. In Robert Browning's books of poems called dramatic lyrics, there are two poems that come together and are called Madhouse Cells. It is like they are a team. One of these poems is called Porphyria's Lover, where a person is talking about love, about obsession, and about doing something bad because of these feelings. The other poem is Johannes Agricola in Meditation. This one is about a real person in history, John Agricola, who had a lot of thoughts about religion a long time ago. He is shown to be thinking really hard in this poem. The reason these two poems have been put together is because they are about very different things and feelings. Porphyria's Lover is about strong emotions and relationships, while Johannes Agricola in Meditation is about deep thoughts about religion and philosophy. Putting them these together makes the collection more interesting and shows different sides of Robert Browning's writing. The term subaltern was first used in a non-military sense by Antonio Gramsci. About 100 years ago, an Italian thinker named Antonio Gramsci used a new way to talk about people in society who don't have much power. He called these people as subalterns. These are the groups that often don't get to participate in how things are done, whether politically or culturally. Gramsci's idea of subaltern includes different groups such as working class people and peasants, who are sometimes treated unequally or neglected. Gramsci's ideas about the subalterns have been really important in fields like post-colonial studies and cultural theory. People use it to look at how power works in society, who is in control, and why some voices, experiences are excluded or not given any attention that they deserve. The genre Newgate fiction derives its name from Newgate calendar, which was the source of the most of the stories of such fiction. Newgate novels are a series of stories that take their name from a famous prison in London called the Newgate Prison. The prison, which burned down in 1780, housed a number of notorious criminals whose stories were popularized in newspapers, songs, and a publication known as the Newgate Calendar. The Newgate Calendar was first published in 1773 and was like a historical record of notorious criminals. It described their lives, trials, and punishments. In the 1830s and 1840s, there were a number of novels that were very popular because of their focus on the lives of criminals, whether real or fictional. Critics began to call these novels as Newgate novels. Edward Bulwer and Harrison Ainsworth were some of the most famous writers of this genre. Harrison Ainsworth's Jack Sheppard, for example, was incredibly popular and even fashionable. Charles Dickens's Oliver Twist published around the same time as Jack Sheppard, and these are about criminals. Newgate novels became a big literary trend in the 1800s with stories inspired by the real-life criminals in Newgate prison. Which of the following plays is not by Manjula Padmanabhan? Answer is Princess. Manjula Padmanabhan is a talented artist from India born on 25th March 1953 in Delhi. Her plays like Harvest, Lights Out, and The Square Root of a Sonnet are well known. Her Harvest won a major award in 1997 and talks about things like how the world is changing, organ trafficking, and how people can be taken advantage of. Manjula also writes books. In 2008, she wrote a novel called The Island of Lost Girls, which deals with issues like society's treatment of men and women and how gender works. As well as writing, she is an artist who draws pictures and cartoons. Her work always deals with important social and political issues, such as how technology affects our lives, etc. Who among the following is not a structural narratologist? Answer is Luis Althusser. Luis Althusser was a clever thinker, but he didn't spend his time on studying how stories are put together. Instead, he talked a lot about politics and how societies work. He was more interested in how governments and people's ideas influenced each other. Now, if we talk about Roland Barthes, A.J. Grimmers, and Todorov, they were really interested in stories and very interested in the way stories are constructed with things like characters, plots, and the meaning of stories. They were like detectives in search of the secrets of storytelling. So, the main idea here is that Louis Althusser was not a kind of person who studied stories and how they are made. But Roland Barthes, A.J. Grimmer, Todorov, they were quite good at it. That is why they are called structural narratologists. They were the experts in understanding how stories work. The Shock of Arrival contains reflections on post-colonial experience of Mina Alexander. The Shock of Arrival, Reflections on Post-Colonial Experience is a special book full of essays. These essays are like personal stories written by Mina Alexander and some others. They talk about what life was like in countries that were ruled by other countries a long time ago. The time when one country ruled over another country is called colonialism, right? After the end of colonialism, these countries had to find their own way in the world. So this book explores these ideas and experiences and is like a treasure for us. Here, Mina Alexander shared her thoughts and experiences about this important time in history.